Thank you for visiting my channel, Thinking Like a Virtuous Woman, where I inspire women to think like the woman in Proverbs 31, spiritually, financially, and also relationally. So today I'm doing a video that was requested. A while back, I did a video on the truth about becoming a CPR and first aid instructor. And one of my students actually asked me to do a video on medical assistant and just the truth about becoming a medical assistant. Now, for those of you who don't know, I am a medical assistant instructor. I've been in the medical field for 16 years. Actually, this year makes 16 years that I've been in a medical field. So one of my students asked me to do a video, so I obliged. So if you're thinking about becoming a medical assistant and you want to know if it's right for you, definitely watch this entire video. Just be mindful that all of the information that I give you today is going to vary from state to state. So I'll mention that a few times in this video, but let's just first talk about some of the benefits of becoming a medical assistant. So one of the benefits is school. So many of my students tell me that they did not want to go to a traditional 2 to 4 year college, which I definitely understand. So the thing about medical assistant is that you can go for as little as 9 months. Now, the most schooling you may need is 12 months. And again, like I said at the beginning of this video, it varies from state to state, but between 9 to 12 months is normal for most schools for medical assistant. So you remember when you were in school and you wondered, like, why do I need to know this? Maybe you were in a history class or maybe geography class and you wanted to know, why do I need to know this? The thing about medical assistant is that everything you learn in school is literally everything you're going to need to know. So you're barely bored with what you're learning, because you will know that everything I'm learning here is everything that I'm going to need to know when I get out into the field. Now, and I remember being in high school, I did not do well in middle school or high school. Like, school just wasn't for me. But when I graduated high school, I went to school to become a medical assistant when I was 19. And it was like everything in school I was so interested in. I had never gotten straight A's in school. I mean, I was the top of my class when I was in school for medical assistant because I was so interested in what I was learning. So that's one of the benefits of going to school for becoming a medical assistant. Another benefit of becoming a medical assistant is that we are in high demand. So as medical assistants, we do a lot of things. We give injections, we draw blood, we take vital signs, we perform EKGs, urinalysis. There is so much that we do. We are always needed. No matter what state you are in, medical assistants are in high demand. So, you know, I mentioned at the beginning of this video that everything is going to vary from state to state. Now, one thing that I just recently realized in a medical assistant group that I'm in on Facebook is that in some states, medical assistants are not allowed to give injections. Now, that was news to me because I know that giving injections is one of our main duties. But I actually found out from one of the young ladies in the group that I'm in that she cannot give injections. I forgot what state she was in. So that's going to vary by state to state. Again, this is something that I just learned. But as medical assistants, you learn how to literally assist the doctor. That's one of the things you need to know about becoming a medical assistant, is that our job is to make the doctor's job easier. So whether that's working the front office, checking patients in, scheduling appointments, answering the phones and things like that, or actually being a clinical medical assistant where you are in the back working hands-on with the doctor, just know that you are there to make their job easier. Another great thing about medical assistant is that it is a great stepping stone career. So most of my students, and I get students anywhere from ages 18, fresh out of high school, up until, I think the oldest student I had was in her 60s. And so I get a wide range of students, but for the most part, most of the students are fresh out of school, right? Between 18 and 25. And the great thing about medical assistants is that it is a great stepping stone. So if you know that one day you want to become a nurse, and maybe you just graduated high school and you don't necessarily want to go to college right away, but you may say, you know what, I want to work in the field for a little bit and then go to school while I'm working to get some experience. Some of them want to become nurses. Some of them even want to go all the way and become a doctor. Some want to be physician assistants. Some want to be radiologists. So if you want to enter the medical field and you may not necessarily want to go to college right away, to a 4-year university right away, and you just want to work and get that experience, medical assistant is an excellent stepping stone because you literally learn so much. So as medical assistants, we can do a lot of what nurses do, of course, within our scope. And that's one of the things you'll learn about if you do decide to go to school, is you'll learn about your scope of practice, meaning that there are only certain things as a medical assistant that you can do. Okay, so we talked about a few benefits. Let's talk about a few things that you definitely want to make sure you know before deciding if medical assistant is right for you. So one of the things that my students get surprised by when they come to class is that they realize that they have to learn everything on each other. Now, this is something, you know, your recruiter, whoever is, you know, your admissions rep should let you know as they're bringing you into the school. But some of my students are caught by surprise that they have to learn on each other. So like I mentioned before, we do vital signs, which is checking blood pressure, checking temperature, pulse, and respiration, things like that. And so you guys learn that on each other. But then you also learn how to draw blood, and you also learn how to give injections. And those are also learned on each other. Now, depending on what school you in, like my school where I teach medical assistant, we actually have a fake arm that the students practice on, and then they begin practicing on each other. But when I was in school back in 2004 with medical assistant, we actually had to just learn on each other. We didn't have a fake arm. So, you know, and I know a lot of schools today are still like that. So just be mindful that when you go to school, you will be learning on each other. And of course, your instructors will be there. You may have 1 or 2 instructors depending on how many people are in, how many students are in your class. But just know and just be prepared that everything you learn, you all will be learning on each other. And when I was in school, we were able to actually bring outside people. Like if we had family or friend that wanted to volunteer, we could do that. But now most schools don't allow that. And again, it's going to depend on the school you go to. There may be some schools that's out there that still allow that, but my school doesn't. Another thing to know about going to school for medical assistant is to know that you may have to take out some financial aid, including student loans. So if you are able to get grants or scholarship that will cover your whole tuition, that will be excellent. But just know that you may have to take out student loans to cover the amount of tuition that your grant or your scholarship does not cover. And I will do another video on being smart about student loans and how it affects your credit. This is something that I wish that I knew back when I became a medical assistant. So now I have incorporated into my curriculum teaching my students about student loans and how it affects your credit and how to stay on top of those payments. So look out for that video very soon. Another very important thing that you want to understand about becoming a medical assistant, and really in any field, is that you may not start out making the type of money that you want to make. And again, this is going to vary from state to state. It's going to vary from specialty to specialty, where you work, your experience, your certifications, and those certifications are going to be big. So most medical assistant schools, they offer additional certifications in addition to what you are already getting at the school. So there are 3 different certifications that you can get as a clinical medical assistant. You can get a RMA, which is registered medical assistant, certified medical assistant, or CMA, or CCMA, which is certified clinical medical assistant. And I'll do another video getting more into depth about those certifications. Those are certifications that are usually included in the tuition when you go to school. Now, most schools offer additional certifications that you may or may not have to pay for separately. For an example, phlebotomy certification. Now, while you do learn phlebotomy as a medical assistant, and if you don't know, phlebotomy is actually drawing blood. So most schools, they offer that certification at additional costs. So, you know, as a medical assistant, you learn how to draw blood. But if you know that drawing blood is something that you want to do, let's say you want to go work for a lab, right? And that's all you want to do is draw blood. You may consider getting your phlebotomy certification. The more certifications that you have, the more money you can negotiate. Those certifications will actually help you to stand out from other candidates that may be going for that same job. For an example, if I go apply for a job, I have no experience. All I have is my school and my externship experience, which we'll talk about a little bit later. And I have no certifications, right? I'm applying for this job. And then the next person goes and applies for the job. Same thing. She's fresh out of school. The only experience she has is externship. However, she has obtained her RMA certification and she has obtained her phlebotomy certification. They're going to choose her over me because of those certifications. Now, some jobs, they actually require you to be certified. Some of them, they're okay with just the certificate that you get when you finish school. But some jobs, they require you to be certified at least in RMA or CMA, at least one of the 2. So just keep that in mind. Other certifications your school may offer is EKG, maybe EHR, electronic health records. I suggest you to take advantage of any other certification that your school offers. Trust me. And finally, another thing you want to know before becoming a medical assistant, you have to really ask yourself, do I have a genuine love for helping people? Now, if you do not have a genuine love for helping people, working at customer service, period, may not be the job for you. But if you have a genuine love for helping people, if you enjoy, making someone's day brighter, if you enjoy, taking care of people, then this is definitely the field for you. Because I will say this, and I tell my students this all the time, if this is just a job to you, if you come to work every day simply treating it as a job, it's going to show with your patients. They're going to feel like just another number to you. You want your patients to feel love. You want them to feel like you genuinely love your job. So you really want to ask yourself, do I have a genuine interest in the medical field? Do I have a genuine interest in medicine? Do I have a genuine interest in helping people? Being a medical assistant is a rewarding job. I love it. I've been in this field for so long, and I love my patients. I love my students. I love the medical field, period. And because I have a genuine love for it, it doesn't always feel like work to me. So if you know this is something that you don't want to do, or if you're second guessing yourself, I don't know if I can work with people like that, just really think about it before you decide to go to school, because you're going to be literally dealing with people, and you're going to literally have their lives in your hands. So definitely think about that. Now, I hope this video was helpful in helping you determine whether you want to become a medical assistant or not. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below. I will leave my email in the description as well. If you have any video suggestions or questions, like this video was a suggestion. So if you do have any suggestions, definitely let me know. I am actually going to start a new channel, and I want you to look out for that, because this channel, Thinking Like a Virtuous Woman, is all about inspiring women to think like the woman in Proverbs 31, spiritually, financially, and relationally. But what I've realized is that my video on becoming a CPR and first aid instructor did so well, and I've been getting requests to do medical assistant and clinical videos. What I've realized is that there is an entire audience for that, and people are wanting that information. So I will be starting a new channel, so look out for that information. So if you enjoyed this video and I was able to help you today, please like this video and share it with someone else who may be thinking about becoming a medical assistant. And also subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more content from me. Thank you again for visiting my channel, Thinking Like a Virtuous Woman. Be blessed.